yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo! Goodness, goodness, goodness. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you. I am. Yes, 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 yes. Woo, yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Good morning. It is a yes. It is a yes. Woo! Ah, sometimes you just gotta, you just gotta speak a word over yourself, right? I mean, just, and it's amazing because, sometimes I talk to, we all struggle, that it is part of our life journey to at times struggle. And it is in the struggle that we learn. It's in the struggle, in the let me see what is here for me, that we learn and that we grow, we expand. And that and trouble sometimes when it confronts you, it's not like you could just, like on an obstacle course, you could just go around it, or something. It's right in your face. And so, there are times when, you got to just step back and say, you know what, I was built for this. It's amazing to me because somebody asked me one time about, this thing about because both my parents are gone, and somebody asked me about, how you make it through or how you do this. And I was built for this. I was raised for this moment here now, whatever that moment is. And sometimes we want to make it seem like that obstacle, the thing that is before us is such a big, they always tell you, oh, God won't give you any more than you can handle. Well, I will tell you, not only will you not get more than you can handle, you were built for this, whatever it is. And so the question is whether or not you going to, puff your chest, put back your shoulders and move forward, or whether you're going to cower in the corner. I know, I get it. I get the wanting to sit back and, because look, I have done that. I have done that. Whether it has been in relationships or on a job or with my finances or with house concerns or whatever it is. I have been that person who has at times thought like, yeah, I can't. But life is going to happen anyway. It's going to happen, right? So the question is how are you going to meet it? How are you going to meet it? We see in the movies, that somebody may let a truck run over them only to attach themselves to the bottom and keep on going. But it's not they don't make movies about, not, at least not the stars of the movie, about people who cower in corners. And a lot of times, good morning, Michael. Yay. A lot of times that's what people are, oh, I could sit this one out. No, right? You were built for this. It's just time coming ripe. It's time ripening that, it puts you in those positions. And you got to just figure out who you're going to be in that instance, right? And so I get, speaking a word over yourself. Here's the other thing. Quit, putting yourself down. Quit questioning the why and the, right? You did the best that you could with the light you had to see by. Accept it. This is the place, and accept it. And here's what we do, right? This is where I'm at. I'm a X marks the spot because this is my new beginning. This is my change of mind. This is my change of heart. This is where I'm starting at all over again. Ain't no sense in me talking about the road behind me. I can't do anything but pray about that. right? I'm going to pray about it and I'm going to say, ooh, you know what? I'm going to send some stardust down my trail. So, because I know that this day is coming. I know that this day is coming. And so now start over, begin again. This is X marks the spot. Brand new day, brand new day. So decide today, decide what you're going to do. Woo! I'm going to tell y'all, the best part of waking up is your message in a time of need. Not the Folgers in my cup, huh? It's my message. I'm so glad that I could be there, and because, Michael, the place and the time, this is it. This is it. I was talking to a friend of mine's, and one of the things that, she was talking about is that sometimes the nighttime really gets to her, and she starts, like moaning over, past decisions or choices. Sometimes the things that, you trip over is you can't go back. You don't get a do-over, right? Oh, I should have took this trip, or I should have stayed at this job, or I shoulda. The fact of the matter is what is. What is. And so, sitting up constantly like thinking, oh, I should have been another way, done something else. Where does that get you? Right? Where does it get you? Stuck in regret? So X marks the spot. I am here now, damn it. I'm here now. And so now what? Here to what your point, Michael, I get people telling me all the time, like, oh, you shouldn't do that daily thing. People get oversaturated. They won't want to hear you, or they won't invite you to places to speak, or they won't do that. Damn it. I'm here now. I'm here now. No, I'm not looking over my shoulder over the past. This has been a blessing for me. If it ain't been a blessing for nobody else, I'm doing what I do. This is what I do. And so, I'm showing up. I'm showing up. I'm here I sit. So, goodness. Good morning. Guys, been talking, I've been listening, but not doing. I have to make the first step and trust in his word. You know what? And here you go. Here you go with there's this thing. I sometimes here's what I do. I breathe. I talk about breathing in the spaces, right? When you read things, or when, something hits you, it's like sometimes you just got to sit there and forgive all of the judgments you have about what you could have, should have done. And just understand that sometimes the time is not ripe. Something about they do these things about they not serving wine before it's time. I don't know if it's wine, but a fruit. Sometimes I got this pear tree in the back, right? And the pears come, August, they are looking beautiful and big. And people are always trying to go and pick something before it's ripe. It's like when that doggone thing is ripe, you will know it. And before it's ripe, it don't have none of that, it don't have the flavor. It doesn't have the texture. It's not ready. And it's hard to tell people because they don't want to, because people will peel a green banana and want to make it work. Well, some people cook with green bananas, but they don't taste very good to, when you're trying to cook them, right? There is a ripening for everything. So you got to forgive yourself for the things that you are like beating up on yourself about, whatever that may be. I forgive me. I forgive me. Jesus said, forgive 7 times 70. Sometimes all the time, the first person we need to forgive is self. Look in the mirror and say, woo, I forgive you for all those times I was procrastinating. I forgive you for whatever it is that you are thinking or judging or whatever it is. I meant to, and blah, blah, blah. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And then X marks the spot. Let me begin anew. And if this is what I'm supposed to do right now, I will do it. And, and sometimes that's part of my prayer. God, right? When the timing is right? Let me get rid of all of this stuff and know that, I'm not going to miss my blessings. What's meant for me is for me. What's meant for you is for you. So don't sit and beat up yourself about stuff like that. Because here's what you do. We erode our self-confidence when we are beating up on ourselves. You got to look in the mirror and tell yourself, right? I'm more than a conqueror, right? I can do this, right? I got this. I am blessed. I am loved. You gotta start to speak words over your own self. Over your own self. Because what happens is you even see that in your body. You see it in your face. You see it in your disposition. It gets in your shoulders. It gets in your back. You start slumping. It starts to get in your organs and in your face, and it starts to sagging. When you don't feel good about you, when you holding on to stuff about you, it shows up all over your body. And so it ain't about what other people see. It's about what you seeing, right? You know it. You look in the mirror and you be like, ooh, you look sad. You look at yourself, ooh, you look sad. Like I actually played Happy today. I actually played Pharaoh's Happy. Yeah, for real. Cause I'm happy. Come along. If you know. And so just speak a word over yourself. Like figure out how to have a celebration just for yourself. Right? I don't know what men do or people do that, got other folks in the house, but sometimes I just gotta start dancing. I gotta, and will take off my clothes and dance too. I gotta pour my own self a glass of wine. I gotta celebrate me. I don't know what other people do to have people watching them all the time, but for me, I'm celebrate me. And I can get on here and celebrate me. I just to be close to you. I'm telling my own self, girl. I tell my own self, oh my goodness, speak a word over yourself. So and I just love how when we are, when you get the message that your life is not a mistake, when you start to see that, I'm just sometimes because here's the other danger. When you start comparing yourself to others, it is, when I talk about eroding something, when I talked about that, the comparison is also a buzzkill. I mean, can you, when you start looking at other people and their life and this, that, and the other, it is just like, it is so corrosive. So what you got to do when I'm saying speak over yourself, when I'm saying have your own party, when I'm saying look in the mirror, forgive yourself, when I'm telling you that this is the kind of stuff that you got to do, then right. So here's the thing. I remember back in the day, a friend of mine says to me, oh Sandra, this is the ego game that people play. People are always so jealous of me. That's what she said. People are always so jealous of me, and I'm so glad that you're not like that. And I kind of course, you know how you cock your head like, what? Right? First off, I'm too busy in my own head. This beautiful head of mine's got so much going on in it. I don't have time to think about what's going on in your head. I don't ask myself why you said this or why. None of that stuff I got time for. Because I'm too busy trying to consider my own stuff. So the fact that she was up there contemplating that somebody else was jealous of her, I was like thinking, no, right? First off, that's because now we're trying to read into what somebody not only think that you know what somebody else is thinking, but now we're trying to read into it, and that don't work, right? So I'm like, no. So when she started telling me this, I said to her, your vision and your goals are not my vision or my goals. And when you don't know what your vision or goals are, then what you do is you start looking around at other people and trying to figure out, oh, I need that, or I got to have that. When you don't have a clue about what you desire to do, then you're so busy measuring yourself up. You get your measuring stick out and you start, gauging other people's life. That's right. So here's what happens to people. People will think that, they're jealous because I have this car or this house. Wonder if you were like me, right? When I came back in college, I went overseas to go to school. And when I came back, I swore to myself, I said, you know what? When you accumulate stuff makes you heavy. That means you can't be nimble. It means you can't travel. It means you can't do all of this stuff because you're busy taking care of stuff. Well, somehow I got stuff. I never meant to get stuff. I never meant to get stuff. So, the house that you think that you're so nice that your friend has, that house be telling them, get up and go get my damn money. It's a pimp. It's a car. Go and get up. We get mates. We get kids. We get all kind of stuff that wakes you up in the morning and say, go get my damn money. And then we sit there and we think that just because we're managing it, that makes me better. No, it means you're pimped. So think about what it is that you desire to do, not what somebody else is doing, not looking at somebody else's yard, somebody else's house, somebody else's stuff. Figure out yourself for yourself. Sometimes I just don't even understand how it is that we get so caught up with this idea of coveting what somebody else has. Right? Oh, so-and-so is, we stupid stuff too. So-and-so is having sex every day. Really? Okay. Right? Really? With themselves or with somebody else or whatever the case may be. Really? I don't know what it is that we get all bent out of shape about, whether it's a job, whether it's a this, whether it's a that. Go for happy. Figure out your happy. Figure out your stuff. Your stuff. If you want to be, I watched a amazing documentary one time, and I talked about this documentary because it was so for me, it was at one of those film festivals, and it was, I can't even think, I don't even know what the name of it was. I wish I'd have known that when I watched it, that it was going to be that meaningful to me and for me when I first watched it. But there was this woman who wanted to make a documentary about a guy who was homeless. And so she goes down to, I think he lived in Florida or somewhere. And she goes down to Florida and with her little camera, and she wants to start down. And this dude looked like he was having the time of his life, right? So the first week that she followed him, she followed him at a distance. And, he was, he was, out on the street, and he was, dancing and singing with people that were on vacation, and people were inviting him to dinner with them and come on in to, you staying on, oh dude, come on, we rented this house or we got this space over here. And, he was just along, and just people were just eating it up. They were loving this dude, right? And then, so now that's the first week of documenting this guy and all of this other stuff. And she's seeing that, yeah, he's homeless, but it looks like he's doing really, really well. So now she wants to travel along with him to see if quite possibly that, she could experience the same kind of thing. Or is this just a guy thing? Is it safe for him and not safe for her? And so what she decided to do with that is that, now they're going to travel together as a pair. And so the first day that she's doing this with him, they go to this place, and, he gets donuts and coffee for free, right? And so what she decides to do is, oh, they gave us donuts. Let's take all the donuts, right? Let's take all it. And so she got a bag, and she, walking away with a bag full of donuts and coffee. And, she's carrying along this stuff. And so what he noticed is at lunchtime, nobody was, he wasn't getting no action. People weren't talking to him because now he got somebody with him. He was like, the whole feel of it changed. By day 2, this dude was depressed, and he goes over and he looks at her, and he takes those donuts and he throws them in the trash. And he was like, won't nobody give us anything if we got stuff, right? And so he throws the stuff in the trash, and then he was like fussing. They starting already, day 2, to get into it. But everything, she was, she was concerned about this, and she was trying to have conversation with them. And he was like, back up. By day 3, it was like, oh, so then they started to venture out of the strip or the area that they were in and started going someplace else. Anyway, eventually she got him to, unbeknownst to him, she had gotten in touch with his family and was, trying to document. Oh my God, you talk about misery. And miserable. It was trying to live in somebody else's vision for your life rather than your own. We heard Shakespeare say, was it Shakespeare that said, to thine own self be true? And as night follows day, you will not be, you won't be false to anyone. If you could just be true to yourself. And most people have a problem just being true to who they are. Oh, Michael, you got a message up here. It says, if this message was for anybody else, that's a wonderful thing. But I know it was meant for me because I'm here to receive it. Yes, because I'm here to receive it. You know what? And that's what, when I talk, Michael, I come on here and, I don't know what the hell I'm going to say as soon as I get on here. I have no clue. When I was in the shower, what was on my mind when I was in the shower? I don't even know. I don't even know what was on my mind when I was in the shower. But I was thinking, one thing, and then I get in there and I'm putting on my lipstick, and I'm like, I done had this lipstick now for a month and I ain't wore it yet, because I was like, every time I put it on, I think, what the hell? What the hell? And so I don't, I was like going through that. And then I come in here and I sit down and, oh, I just got to speak a word over myself, right? Because I started thinking, and this is what comes out. So it is, I always talk about it being the energy that is in the room that causes a shift in what comes out. And so whatever it is that you're supposed to get that, receive that, because sometimes I know that God gives me this message, whatever that may mean. And so sometimes whatever it is that is, that comes up, it's like, let it come through me so that I can share it. I can say it. I don't want to be that block. I don't want to be that heaviness. And so sometimes we just gotta just back up and figure out how to be thankful with everything, right? Oh, now I got a house. This anchor. I look at it, it's an anchor. But you know what? I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful because it's not only is it an anchor, it's an incubator. It allows me the space and the room to grow that I needed to grow. If I'm looking at it like, when they talk about this idea of gratitude and thankfulness, you've got to figure out how to, even in the things that we're looking at and we're judging, we got to figure out, how do I find the blessing in this? Because what I know is there is always a blessing. And so instead of me sitting up tripping about, I got this, I got to pay taxes, I got to, get my roof fixed, instead of me bemoaning the things that are problematic or wrong, how do I sit in this and see the blessing for what it is? And so the same thing with anybody, with all of us. We don't necessarily see it as a blessing when it's happening. Storms come in our life. We don't necessarily see the blessing when it's there. But what do people say? In the sweet by and by? Or asking, God, help me to see how this is working for me. Help me to see this as you see it, right? And so instead of just getting caught up in this, and if it's not for you, then that also tells you something too, right? It also tells you that you live in a lie. And you got to know when you're living a lie. I'm just saying, you've got to know when you have, I wanted to say Elvis has left the building. But when you have betrayed yourself, you have to understand and recognize that, and then make a course correction yourself. It's not, and sometimes, I was, thinking back, when was I happy? Oh, what did I do? I took a detour into darkness. Let me see, do I need to go back to that spot and take another detour? Do I need to make another choice? Or when this comes back again, because it comes back, they come around, will I have the courage to make the choice that I need to make for my life? I mean, those are the kind of things that we gotta wrestle with and massage and figure out. Because if we don't, then what we do is we get the same old shiggity over and over again. And then, sometimes we betray ourselves for so long that we don't even know how to get back. It's like, I don't know about you, but I have felt like, at times I felt like I fell into a hole. And rather than figure out how to get out of the hole, you start looking for, maybe if I go a little deeper into this hole, I'll find a way to escape. Maybe if I go deeper, whatever it is kind of, looking at it again. Let me assess where I'm at. Let me assess and see. He says the happiest time in his life was doing my mechanic work, being a blessing to others. And why did you stop? You know that, I mean, that's just knowing here, because this is, I'm telling you, most of the time we betray ourselves by thinking that we need to be like or do what somebody else is doing. Somebody will say, oh, you know what? You can't be an artist, or you can't be a musician, even if that's where you get your joy at, because, oh, that doesn't pay the bills, or that doesn't do. And so what people do is that detour in the darkness. They give up the place, they happy space, right? So maybe you don't do it full time, or unless, of course, you get to a place where you can make it work full time. But this idea that it's gotta be the way that your neighbor is doing it, or the way that somebody else is doing it, right? Figure out what works for you. Stop looking around at everybody else and trying to get your cues and your directions from everybody else, and see what makes you happy. Because I don't know about you, but I like, because, you know, people have money. People will go after money, and they'll have money and be miserable with money. As a matter of fact, I see people with money and they can't get no friends or have any relationships because they so busy trying to protect their money. Oh, I can't, she might, they so busy trying to protect that they got a whole missing whatever over here, right? It's just missing. And so y'all know I talked about that prostitute archetype for a while, because, you know, it's one of those things we don't recognize, that we are selling ourselves out for 30 pieces of silver. We don't, people don't see that. They don't see how they have betrayed themselves. And they're so busy trying to look big in somebody else's eyes and miserable in their own. And so all them and all of their stuff be sitting up there trying to figure out, like, well, why don't nobody love me? Why don't nobody this and why don't nobody that? There was a brother, beautiful black man that used to live in DC that committed suicide. As a matter of fact, I got a friend here. I've known grown black men, not killed on the street, but they killed themselves, take themselves out. And why? Why? You go down, here's the thing. They gotta look a certain way, or not get the love that is trying to get with you, but rather they are, oh, I can't, that ain't good enough, or she too this, or she too that. It's like, get the love that's there for you. Do you? I don't understand this. Well. And I'm thinking about this too, as I'm saying it, because, I want to be transparent with me too, right? Because when things are right for you and when they're not, but what's it based on, right? What is it based on? And so if it's based on, it can be based on so much stuff, right? And so just to thine own self be true. Figure out what it is that is for you, and then begin to work on that. Brooke Levin, good morning. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, Brooke Levin, that on YouTube. So So you gotta figure out what works for you and then move and breathe into that space instead of just just trying to do something else. Viking, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I am so glad. When much is given, much is required. A gift of giving, like gift of life, God gave everyone. So understand, like I'm all for truisms, right? We will say things that is like, um I hate to use words like trite, but we make statements without necessarily looking at the entirety of what that means for each and every one of us. I'm big on breathing into this and seeing what it means for me, right? So we can say, to whom much is given, much is required. What does that mean? What does it mean for you, right? Not just to say the words and and not understand what it means for you. What's the gift that was given you, right? Is the gift that is given you being good with your hands, understanding systems and how they work, and so therefore that makes you mechanically astute, aware, gifted, right? Is it that your gifting is because if mine's is talking or receiving or conveying messages or making things plain, if you've got a gift for healing, or if you've got a gift for music or singing or art, or what is your gift? And then what does it mean to be required of you, right? Does that mean that you then have to go out and do it for others? Or does that mean that you do give freely? You got to figure out what it means for you. It's not one of those things that we a lot of times we say things or we repeat things, but what does it mean to me? Don't let somebody else interpret it for you. I don't want to interpret it for you. It's yours to interpret for yourself. But don't just summarily, say things or just kind of repeat things without recognizing what it means for you. So all of us have the opportunity to ask ourselves questions. What is my gift? Right? Is it that you're a great entertainer? Is it that, because so often it's so funny, because I see people who want to run around and tell other people what to do with their life and how they should live and all of that stuff, thinking that that's their gifting, and it ain't, right? Because the same thing that comes through through you can come through any number of people. This idea that one person knows above and beyond somebody else when it's your life. People tell me sometimes, God told me, God said, God speaks to me too. I don't need you to come and tell me what the heck God said. Right? That becomes that becomes the work that each of us has to do for ourselves, to figure out how to hear that voice, how to make that distinction, how to receive that information. I used to tell people, at first I was like kind of questioning it myself. I was like, God, you know what? You sound a lot like me. And the question came back, well, who would you rather I sound like? James Earl Jones? Maybe. Who would you rather? Right? Samuel L. Jackson? Your dad? Whose voice would you rather hear? And so this, these questions of letting stuff come up in you so that you can, all of this stuff is only about you. It's all about you. And so when you take it and run with it like that, I'm going to tell you, it is just powerful. Yeah, I want to read this. I am going to read this daily guide for today because, that's what I do. And here I am. It looks like I'm like 40 some minutes in. And I usually try to do this in the first 15 minutes. So I got off on a today. And I'm so glad that I did. So glad that, this is resonating. If it's resonating with you, I'm so glad. But when I read these, they usually kind of line up with whatever it is that I'm saying. And so let me read this. And it is entitled, You Have Superpowers. You have superpowers. Now, this is something that between Superman and Lois Lane is the first quote. And it says, there is a superhero in all of us. We just need the courage to put on the cape. Okay. And then from Ernest Holmes' idea of power, his ideas of power, he says the quote that he uses is, that which instinctively rises from the human breast to proclaim the need of the finite heart is an utterance of the feeling of the universe and may be considered the word of Almighty God. For the only God you and I ever know is the one we embody. Never forget that. See what I mean? How it lines up? I love it. So let's read what Reverend Raymond Anderson wrote for today, entitled, You Are a Superhero, or You Have Superpowers. He says, one of my favorite things about being alive right now is the proliferation of superhero films and TV shows, as well as the mythic adventures like Rings of Power, Dune, and Star Wars, to name just a few. One of the things I love most about these films is that they remind us of our own superpowers. What superpowers, you ask? The superpower is the one Holmes spoke of when he says a power for good in the universe, greater than you are, greater than I am, greater than all of us, a power for good that we can use in everyday life for everything. This superpower is accessed and used in a great many ways. One of them is our topic this month, curiosity. Curiosity is a superpower because it is the very thing that sparks our desires to change, to live a healthier, happier, more satisfying life. Curiosity peels back the veil of dogmatic, programmed, conditioned thinking and beliefs that taught us that we were sinners, not good enough, and not worthy of being loved. In peeling back the veil, curiosity grants us access to the truth. It grants us access to a path and a practice that yields amazing results. It reveals that which is infinite goodness itself, that which is God, and it reveals to us that we are the individualized expression of that goodness. So, of course, we have access to it. We are the living, breathing incarnation of it. So the affirmation that goes along with this: today I put on my cape. I recognize, embrace with gratitude, I recognize, embrace, and with gratitude, use my divine superpowers to make the world a better place for all. See what I mean? It usually ends up going right along with what I'm saying. It's like it comes up right next to me and then just reaffirms all of what I've been saying for this last 45 minutes. And that is so good and it's so perfect, right? And so, whatever it is that reminds you, for you, it might not be this superhero idea. Because remember what I was saying, if you've been down on yourself for a long time, one of the problems, one of the things that we have is that sometimes we've dropped so far down into a pit, into a hole, that we can't figure out how to get out. Well, here's the thing is, I love, this guy told me one time that he had to stop the bleeding on something. And that's one of the things that I love to say is that when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Stop digging. Because what I know is that if you keep digging, you get deeper and deeper. Sometimes you just need to sit and wait for a minute. Let the idea, let inspiration catch up with you so that you could then assess where you are and figure out how to get where you need to be. A lot of times people just keep digging and digging and digging and not knowing that they're just getting deeper in a hole. I was listening to a thing about, people being a product of their environment. A lot of times everywhere you look, you see struggle, you see trauma, you see all kind of stuff going on. I used to talk about how, when I was some years ago, I had this guy living next door to me that had mental issues. And every morning it would be that I would hear him as he, would call his mother, he called his mother some foul names just to wake her up. Good morning. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you call your mother anything that is demeaning, derogatory, all of this stuff? I mean, that would be the kind of craziness that would greet me in the morning. And at a certain point, I was like, I was fed up with it. I was just, no, you are not. People see elder abuse going on and folks do absolutely nothing about it. And I was like, So first off, I was, tried to engage the, the authorities, called police, doing all of this stuff. And it was so interesting because one of the things that this knucklehead, when they came investigating, every time they came and investigate, the mother was defending this dude. No, he didn't do that. Oh, no, he's a good. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh. So what did I do? I set up a camera. I put a camera, trained it right on their house. And for a while there, he was really being pleasant because he knew that there was a camera trained on there. I put it up on my, I put it on my, high up on my house so he couldn't mess with it. And it was like, he just never knew when it was recording or not. So, for a while there, he straightened out. But then, of course, things happen as they always do. I guess he figured out that, whatever, that I couldn't record as much footage as I was supposedly recording. Then, I go and I talk to his siblings and I'm saying, look, this is what's happening over here. And, and they're like, oh, we asked her and we talked, and it's so interesting because, when I talk about this idea of ripening time and we talk about those things, now that guy I don't even know where he is anymore. Good thing. The mother is now gone, but it made no sense that people lived under such conditions. Not only them living under that condition, but me having to witness all of it was stressful and traumatic for me. So, we got to have the courage to change the things that we can change, to do something about what we can do something about. And so sometimes the very first thing that you can do something about is looking at your conditions and thinking, what can I do? What's a first step that I can do in making this better or more palatable for me? and sometimes what you might find is something that, you might not even think of. Some people it is, I just need a bedroom to myself. I really need some space that is just mine. Whether that's in the garage or in the basement, or converting a corner or something, making a room divider, but having something that is just yours might just give you some breathing space. I don't know, but it's figuring out what it is that you need to do in order to find, if not your happy space, a place where you can just hear your own self think. Go for a walk, get a new hobby, something. But just being able to choose you is a powerful thing. All right, y'all. I think that I think I'm gonna stick a fork in that. If I don't know if I got any so I got my YouTube going, and I have my Facebook going, and I'm still looking at ways of making some changes to all of this. I know that I can, and that's interesting. Yeah, I know that I can. So maybe at some point, you'll see some changes coming up. So whatever the case may be, I thank you for being here today. This is just so great, so great, so great, so great. And it's Saturday, so I hope that you make the most of your Saturday, and see what it is that see what it is that you desire to do with your day, with yourself, with your life, all of that stuff. But consider what I've said, and and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, or if it's not for you, you'll forget about it even before I'm off of here good. It's all good. That's just how it works. It's so good. All right. So yeah, blessings to you. And I hope you have an amazing and wonderful day. And with that, I am going to stick a fork in this and get off of here. So blessings to you. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on here at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. And I know that tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday, and many of you will be watching the Super Bowl, but I don't think it starts until later. So, cool your jets. I'll be on here at 1. And then again on Monday, I'll be here in the 8 a.m. hour, usually 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. If you are on YouTube, please like or subscribe or ring the bell even, so that you'll know when I go live. All right, so bless.